Is summer dressing making your midsection show instead of slim? Heat, humidity, and hot flashes make clingy fabrics and heavy cuts unforgiving, but you don't need a new wardrobe to look sharper. You need control over where the eye travels, breathable fabrics that drape instead of grab, and small proportion shifts that lengthen your frame. Here's what you'll get: a vertical flow formula that guides the gaze up and down, a plug-and-play outfit you can wear today, and a 10-second exit checklist to keep everything polished before you step out. To prove how fast this works, you'll see 3 real transformations in under 30 seconds. A 61-year-old who swapped a knit shift for a button front dress with a sheer outer and instantly reads slimmer in full-length photos. A 57-year-old Petite who raised definition to empire height and switched to nude pointed flats so her legs looked a handspan longer. And a 66-year-old with narrow shoulders who used a soft champagne satin scarf to pull focus upward and make the midsection fade. We'll start with how the eye reads lines so every choice that follows, silhouette, layers, belts, pattern, fabric, color, accessories, and hair, works in the same direction. Visual principles are simple. Vertical lines read as long and lean. Horizontal breaks widen and chop the body. The eye naturally tracks continuous vertical paths and pauses on crosswise bars. If your goal is a slimmer, taller impression, build outfits that encourage uninterrupted up and down flow and minimize hard horizontal stops at the midsection, hip, and bust. Run a 10-second mirror test. Hold a long scarf or an unbuttoned shirt so it falls straight from shoulder to mid-thigh. Notice how your outline looks sleeker and your waist appears calmer. Now place a contrasting strip straight across your tummy. The gaze lands there and lingers. This quick experiment shows how your clothes will perform in daylight and photos. With clients over 50, the pattern is consistent. A dress with a seam circling the waist or a heavy belt splits the frame, a shirt dress with a button placket, a modest V-neck, a center slit, and a fluid fabric restores the vertical pathway. Feedback is immediate. People perceive taller and trimmer, even when weight hasn't changed. Industry consumer surveys report that roughly 70% of women 50+ prefer outfits that feel comfortable yet look streamlined, reinforcing the value of visual guidance over tight compression. Questions to audit your closet: which piece creates your strongest vertical line, button placket, pin tuck, pinstripe, long pendant, or a softly draped scarf? Are you unintentionally adding horizontal stops at the tummy with wide belts, tiered seams, or smocked bodices? When you squint at your reflection, does your eye travel from shoulder to hem without interruption, or does it stall at the waist? What happens if you swap a wide belt at the natural waist for a slim, color-matched tie placed slightly higher? Bottom line, direct the eye vertically, keep the center of the body low information, and concentrate brightness and detail near the face so attention lifts. With this foundation in place, the next step is silhouette and fit, shapes that embrace and release to protect that vertical line while giving you ease in motion. Match your silhouette to your body shape and you'll look streamlined without squeezing. 4 types: apple high tummy, pear narrow shoulders, fuller hips, rectangle straight waist, hourglass balanced defined waist. Rule: lightly embrace strengths, release where you want ease, and protect the vertical line. Apple: choose a moderate V-neck. Place definition at empire height just under the bust to lift the eye above the tummy and favor shirt dresses with button plackets for a continuous center line. Skip wide belts at the natural waist. If needed, use a slim, color-matched tie about 1 inch higher. Pear: build the shoulder line with boat necks or subtle puff sleeves, then let fabric fall softly over the hips. Add vertical energy below the waist, front slit, or stitched crease so the gaze travels down, not out. Rectangle: create curve with gentle peplum, princess seams, or a narrow belt. Avoid straight shells that flatten the frame. Let fabric skim the waist and release over the tummy. Hourglass: Keep balance with lightly fitted, softly draped. Excess gathers at bust or hip distort the ratio. Choose fluid crepe, lyocell, or fine jersey that follows the line without clinging. A typical try-on. A 62-year-old long devoted to shift dresses switches to a button front with an empire tie and modest V. Instantly, shoulders read cleaner, the waist returns, the frame feels lighter. Data agree. An IDRA study found 67% of women 50+ wear tops that don't suit their shape, often too boxy. FIT research shows hemlines ending just above the widest hip can increase perceived leg length by about 12%. An ARP survey reports 71% of women 50+ feel more confident when shaping is intentional. Closet audit. Do your shoulders need opening or your waist a soft nip? Which piece gives your strongest vertical, button placket, pinstripe, princess seam, or a long pendant? Are you cutting the body in half with a wide belt or a tiered seam at the tummy? Once the frame is set, add a weightless layer to reinforce the vertical line. Next, we'll fine-tune that. Layering in heat isn't about adding warmth. It's about adding structure and vertical guidance without bulk. Think of the outer as a frame. A long sheer kimono, an open linen shirt, or a slim mesh jillet creates two clean rails on either side of the torso so the eye travels up and down. Build a column of color underneath, tank and skirt or trousers in the same tone, then use a slightly deeper or contrasting outer to sharpen the outline. Keep the outer open. A closed layer becomes a horizontal block. Choose fabrics that move air. Sheer chiffon, georgette, or voile under 9100 GSM feels weightless. Open weave linen works if the yarns are fine and the hand is soft. Side slits, vented backs, and high armholes release heat. Roll sleeves to 3/4 length and stop at the narrow part of the forearm to add lightness. Let hems fall just below the hip bone to lengthen the leg line. A longer, straight front with gentle side slits preserves the vertical. At 58, I reach for an ivory knit tank and ecru midi, then slip on an 80 GSM black chiffon kimono. The darker frame plus pale column carves a taller center line, and the fabric barely touches the skin. Add a Y necklace or long pendant to reinforce the axis. Swap wide belts for a slim tie placed slightly high if you want a hint of shape without cutting the body in half. Worried a layer will feel hot? Try sheer or net pieces under 100 GSM and keep the base fitted but not tight. Air needs space to circulate. Petite and afraid a long outer will swamp you. Match the outer to your base within one shade and choose a hem that skims mid-thigh. Broad shoulders. Use fluid drop-shoulder outers rather than stiff blazers so the line falls straight. High tummy. An open linen shirt worn loose, ends aligned vertically, keeps attention center front and off the waist. Once your summer layer is pulling the eye vertically and letting heat escape, the next refinement is placement of definition, belts, drawstrings, and seam lines to protect that column while giving gentle shape where you want it most. Belt placement is a proportion exercise. Your job is to protect the vertical line and move emphasis away from the tummy. The most forgiving position is empire. Set definition just under the bust with a slim, tone-on-tone belt. Keep width narrow, about a 3-inch. Up to 1 inch if the fabric is crisp, so the line reads as shape, not a band. If you want control without a visible cut line, use a concealed, slightly off-center drawstring. The diagonal pull keeps the eye moving vertically instead of stalling across the midsection. What to avoid, especially with a high tummy: wide, contrasting belts at the natural waist. They create a hard, horizontal stop at the broadest point and visually shorten the torso. If you're petite, raise the placement 3.5 inches above your natural waist to shift your torso-to-leg ratio toward a flattering 1/32/3. Pair that with a vertical slit in the skirt, about 6-8 inches, to add forward movement. Research on visual perception from fashion programs has shown that hemlines or slits ending above the widest part of the hip can increase perceived leg length by roughly 10–12%, while consumer studies report that about 2/3 of women 50+ default to silhouettes that are too boxy or belted in the wrong place, exactly what splits the frame. Confidence tends to rise when shaping is intentional rather than tight, which supports this approach. My own shift after 50 was simple but decisive. I retired a 1.5-inch contrasting leather belt and replaced it with a 1/2-inch self-fabric tie placed at empire height, then added an open linen shirt as a weightless outer. The midsection softened, the upper body looked longer, and colleagues commented that I looked leaner with zero change on the scale. To replicate, keep belt and garment in the same color family, cinch just enough to create a shadow at the side seams, and resist pulling the fabric taut across the tummy. If you love tiered skirts, anchor the tier very high or well below the tummy, never right across it, and if you need a hint of shape, knot the tie slightly off-center. Ask yourself, could a slim, color-matched tie replace that wide belt? Would lifting the placement a touch transform your proportions? Is a monochrome belt preventing a visual stripe across the abdomen? Once the placement, length, and slit are working together, the next refinement is print, fabric, and color, softening the center mass while reinforcing those vertical lines you've just built. Patterns, fabric, and color should work together to draw the eye up and down and keep the midsection low information. Place print strategically, a small cluster at the shoulders or sleeve cuffs to lift the gaze, a border or scattered motif at the hem to lead it downward. Keep the tummy zone quiet, solid, or low-contrast texture. If a floral band sits across your waist, switch to the same palette with print focused high and low, the center calms, scale print to height. Under 5'3", ditzy to small approximately 0.40, 8 in, 5'3", 5'6", small to medium 0.82 in, over 5'6", medium to fuller motifs 2–3 in. Vertical leaning designs, vine trails, pinstripes, scattered dots that fall, build length better than tiered horizontals. Squint in the mirror. If the belly reads as the brightest or busiest zone, placement is wrong. Choose fabrics with drape so they skim, not stick. Aim for rayon/viscose 120–160 GSM, lyocell 120–170 GSM, crepe 130–180 GSM, cotton lawn 70–100 GSM. Avoid clingy, shiny jerseys or satin-faced panels at the midsection. Sheen exaggerates roundness in sun and photos. Prefer breathable weaves that fall straight from the bust. Summer color should brighten without shouting. Cool pastels and light neutrals, powder blue, blush, mint, lavender, ivory, stone, soften texture and let vertical details lead. Use the 60–30–10 rule. 60% a soft base, 30% a neighbor shade for depth, 10% a highlight near the face to pull focus upward. After 50, I replaced black jersey that hugged the tummy with a light ivory column and a chiffon print focused at the shoulders and a slim hem border. Colleagues immediately said I looked longer and lighter. Audit your closet. Are any pieces parking a stripe or bouquet across the middle? What happens when you move interest to neckline and hem? Is the print too large for your frame? Is the fabric gliding or grabbing? Take a quick black and white photo. The lightest area is where eyes land first. With pattern, fabric, and color aligned, the next step is setting occasion formulas so getting dressed stays fast and repeatable. Think in occasion formulas you can repeat and tweak. Each one protects the vertical line, keeps the midsection low information, and reads polished without heat or fuss. Brunch. Build a light beige column, tank plus midi or straight trouser, then add an open white linen shirt as the frame. Choose fine linen around 120–140 GSM so it floats, not clings. Keep the hem skimming mid-thigh with shallow side vents. Roll sleeves to the narrowest part of the forearm. Finish with low pointed flats, 0. 5-1 in to elongate the leg and a small structured bag, about 9-11 in wide. If you're petite, match shirt and base within one shade to avoid chopping the torso. At 58, this is my Sunday uniform. The pale center plus the white frame makes me look taller even on flat shoes. Would a lighter base and an open shirt calm your midsection more than a dark tee? Smart casual work. Choose a tencel, lyocell, shirt dress with a modest V and a clean button placket, about 3 in. Add a sheer gillet to create twin vertical rails without adding warmth. Keep its hem just below the hip bone for proportion. If you need definition, tie a slim self belt at empire height, never a wide, contrasting belt at the natural waist. Slingbacks at 1.5 in give posture without forefoot strain, and a medium top handle bag holds shape so the outfit reads intentional. Which color feels most credible on you for meetings? Steel blue, soft olive, or warm top? Garden party, an empire waist dress in a micro-floral motifs approximately 0. 5-1 in keeps the print lively without overwhelming the frame. Add a champagne chiffon shawl around 70-90 GSM. The soft sheen lifts the face and balances narrow shoulders, plus pearl studs. Aim for a mid-calf hem and a low block heel, a 2 in or a sleek wedge for lawn-friendly stability. If your tummy runs high, choose a bodice that releases directly under the bust so fabric falls straight. Do your current florals sit across the waist? Try the same palette with print focused high and low. The center quiets instantly. When your occasion formulas are set, the next refinement is a fast exit audit, 5 checks in 10 seconds, to keep the column intact every time you step out. Accessories and hair are where polish and proportion lock in. Think vertical, scale, and placement. A Y necklace or a single long pendant, 18-22 in, landing mid-sternum draws a clean center line. Skip chunky collars that sit high and thicken the neckline. If you love layers, keep chains fine and staggered so they read as one path, not visual noise. Earrings should add light without widening the face, small drops or refined hoops in the 0. 5-1. 25 in range work on most of us after 50. Match metal to undertone, cool right arrow silver, warm right arrow gold, or echo a hardware detail on your bag for cohesion. Bracelets slim the wrist best when they're narrow. A watch case around 28-34 mm feels elegant, not sporty. Bags structure the silhouette. A medium top handle, about 9-11 in wide, 8-9 in tall, keeps its form so the outfit looks intentional. Avoid slouchy totes that collapse at the waist. They add bulk right where we want quiet. If you prefer crossbody, shorten the strap so the bag rests at high hip, not on the tummy. Color strategy. Either match the column, disappears into the outfit, or mirror the shoe creates a top-to-toe rhythm. Shoes finish the leg line. Pointed or gently almond toes lengthen. Choose a nude close to your skin tone for maximum blend. Low, stable height keeps you graceful, 0. 5-1 in for flats with support, 1-1. 5 in for block heels, 1. 5-2 in for a kitten. Ankle straps can chop the leg if you need them. Keep color low contrast with your skin or place the strap lower on the foot. For lawn events, a sleek wedge about 2 in is lawn safe and posture friendly. Hair should frame and lift. A soft bob at jaw or collarbone with a side part and subtle bevel opens the face. Long layers with 0. 75-1 in face framing pieces add movement without bulk. A touch of crown lift, about 0. 5-1 in lengthens the profile. Makeup, keep the center matte and place radiance at inner corners, brow bone and top of the cheek. Attention rises to the eyes and away from the midsection. Brows defined about 10-15% fuller than your natural line restore structure. Satin lip finishes the look. At 58, I swapped a chunky short necklace for a 20-inch Y, moved to a structured top handle, and traded round toe loafers for 1-inch pointed flats. Colleagues instantly read taller, lighter. Which pendant in your drawer gives you the cleanest center line? Does your bag rest on the tummy or the hip? Are your earrings adding light or adding width? When these finishing choices support your vertical, we can wrap it with a 10-second checklist to scan for last-minute fixes before you head out. Run a 10-second scan before you walk out the door. 5 checks that make you read taller, leaner, and polished without squeeze. Vertical line present. You need a clean path from collarbone to hem. A center button placket about 0.60, 75 in wide, a Y necklace 1822 in that lands mid-sternum, or an open outer that frames the torso. Step back 6-8 feet and squint. Does your eye travel straight up and down, or does it stall at mid-torso? No horizontal stops at the tummy. Edit out wide belts, high-contrast waistbands, and tiers that sit right across the abdomen. Trade for a slim, tone-on-tone tie, a 3-in, placed at empire height or slightly off-center so the eye keeps moving vertically. Wearing a floral stripe across the waist. Shift the print high and low and keep the center quiet. Fabric drapes and breathes. Choose materials that skim, not cling. Rayon/viscose 120-160 GSM, lyocell 120-170 GSM, crepe 130-180 GSM, cotton lawn 70-100 GSM, fine linen 120-140 GSM. Air moves through these, they fall straight from the bust and soften the midsection. Skip shiny jerseys or satin panels at the core. Sheen exaggerates roundness in sun and photos. Brightness lives near the face. Use the 60-30-10 rule. 60% a soft base, 30% a neighbor shade for depth, 10% a highlight at the neckline, small drop earrings, a light scarf, or a modest V. Do a quick black and white phone photo. The lightest zone should be your eyes and cheekbones, not your waist. Need lift. Add a touch of radiance at inner corners, brow bone, and top of cheek. Shoes extend the leg line. Pointed or soft almond toes lengthen. Choose a nude close to your skin tone to erase the foot break. Heights that stay graceful, 0.51 in supportive flats, 1.1. 5 in block heels, 1.52 in kitten heels. If you need ankle straps, keep color low contrast with your skin or drop the strap lower on the foot. Hems and slits that end above the widest part of the hip can increase perceived leg length by roughly 10-12%. Which pair in your closet gives you the cleanest toe-to-knee line? One more confidence check. Surveys of women 50+ consistently show confidence rises when shaping is intentional, not tight. What's your vertical today? What horizontal needs muting? Which fabric is gliding? Where's your brightness? And do your shoes finish the line? When all 5 are greenlit, plug them into your occasion formulas and getting dressed becomes repeatable. 3 real clients, 3 quick shifts that read instantly slimmer in full-length photos. Martha, 61, apple shape with a high tummy. We replaced her knit shift with a tencel shirt dress featuring a 3-in button placket and a modest V. Then we added an 80-100 GSM sheer kimono left open. The edges create twin vertical rails. Hem sat just below the hip bone with shallow side vents. Result: the torso read longer, the midsection quieter, and the shoulder-to-hem path looked straight in candid shots. She kept a belt, but we swapped it for a half-in self tie at empire height, definition without a hard horizontal stop. A 20-in Y pendant reinforced the center line. Would moving your belt up and narrowing it deliver the same calm through the waist? Gloria, 57, petite. Goal: leg length without heels. We chose an empire waist midi in fluid rayon, ~140 GSM, that releases directly under the bust. A nude pointed flat close to her skin tone erased the ankle break. The toe shape extended the line. Versus the same dress with round toe black flats, perceived leg length improved by roughly 10-12% in side-by-side photos. She joked it looked a handspan longer. We kept the print small, 0.51 in motifs, and ended the hem above the widest part of the calf. A 6/8 in center slit added forward movement. Are your shoes helping the line from knee to toe or stopping it? Nora 66, narrow shoulders with a soft midsection. We lifted attention. A champagne satin scarf 10-14 in wide draped across the shoulder line, pearl drops, and a gentle side part with a 1 in crown lift. Her shoulder span read broader, her face brighter, and the waist stopped being measured by the eye. Underneath, a pale column with a clean center seam preserved the vertical. A lightweight open gillet, 26-30 in long, framed the silhouette without heat. Could a light scarf or structured shoulder detail shift focus upward for you? Quick self-audit prompts. Where's your strongest vertical buttons, pendant, or a straight front seam? Are you placing any bold horizontal across the waist, wide belt, tiered seam, contrast waistband? Is your motif scaled to your height, and does your hem finish above the widest point it crosses? If you're petite, would an empire release plus nude pointed flats outperform a dark belt at the natural waist? If your shoulders are narrow, can you add light and width up top? Next, we'll convert these moves into a 10-second exit checklist so you can repeat the results on any outfit. Summer style comes down to a few non-negotiables. Protect the vertical line, place focal points high and low, keep the center quiet, choose breathable fabrics that drape instead of cling, position belts smartly, usually slim and slightly higher, and let accessories and hair finish the silhouette. Long pendant or Y necklace, structured bag, pointed or almond shoes, a soft bob or layered side part. Clothing doesn't make the person, but it reveals the most radiant version of you. When fabric, proportion, and detail move in the same direction, you look cooler, longer, and more assured without replacing your wardrobe or sacrificing comfort. Your move this week: try one small shift and record it. Add a center button placket or a sheer open layer to reinforce the vertical, or swap your short necklace for a Y necklace. Take a quick before / after photo in good daylight. You'll see the lines straighten and the midsection quiet immediately. Tell me about your shape and your biggest sticking point in the comments. High tummy, petite proportions, narrow shoulders, strong hips, and I'll tailor the next episode to you. And if today's guidance helped, subscribe to Confident Beauty Over 60 to keep exploring expert, ageless style tips for women 50+. Thank you for spending your time with me. Can't wait to see you in the next video.